So I've got the SunJoe out again. I haven't used this since last fall, so it should be fun to get this out again. I've never used the de-thatching cartridge before, so I gotta swap that out. It only had the other attachment on. Let's flip this thing over and I'll show you what we're dealing with here. This is the Scarifier attachment. It's got these blades on here. Now I don't want to use that because I used it for seeding last year. I'm going to take this off. It's pretty easy. There's just 2 bolts and it comes right out, and this cartridge goes in place of it. So let's get that swapped out, and we're going to de-thatch the lawn. I just mowed yesterday, so I'm going to de-thatch. I'm going to go over in 2 different directions, and then we're going to put down our pre-emergent. Since temperatures are starting to drop a little bit and it's about time, I'm trying to catch some of the Poa annua weeds and stuff from coming up next year. So I mowed at 2 inches. Everything's pretty well recovered from the summer heat stress. Things are looking pretty good, so I'm just gonna try to get up some of this dead stuff here. There is a little bit of thatch, but it's not as bad as it was last year. It's mostly just on the surface, so it's not too bad. We'll see how much actually gets pulled up with the de-thatcher. Once that's done, we'll have a nice clean surface and good exposure of the soil for the pre-emergent, and then I think I'll hit it with the first round of fertilizer for the fall as well, just to try to push a little bit of growth and recovery. Take this off, just loosen these 2. It is a 10 millimeter socket. Not even that tight. So now we have that out. It only fits in one way. It's kind of keyed, so you just angle that in right into the slots. Make sure you grab the washer. And screw it down. Let's make sure you don't over tighten it. So this doesn't have to be torqued down crazy, just enough that it doesn't fall out. It looks like it's a plastic spacer in there. That should do it. It is recommended to use a 12 gauge electrical cord for higher amperage needs. So this is what this cable is. This is pretty thick. That's only a 25-foot cable, so it's not going to reach very far. So I've got another 50-foot. That's a 16 gauge. Try not to run this beyond like 50 feet with that lower gauge wire, because you could overheat the motor if the voltage drops too much. So I've got my first 25 feet with the thicker cable, and then I'm making up the difference with the slightly thinner gauge wire, but I didn't have any problems with it last year. As long as I'm not running it super hard and getting the motor hot and taking breaks with it, it should be okay. But if you want to run it with a longer duty cycle, make sure you have an appropriate power cord to do the whole job. Plan is to go in a grid pattern. I'm going to go back and forth this way, and I'll probably make a second pass this direction just to make sure I get everything up. Power cord management is important, so I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to go work that direction, so that way the cord always stays to one side and I'm not running it over. Let's see how she goes. I'm not using the bag this time, but it does leave a bit of a chunk there. You're going to pull up some green grass, but that's all right. That's why we're going to hit it with nitrogen so it recovers quickly. You know, I think it's gonna give a lot more air to the soil, and it's gonna help with nutrient take-up and things like that. So removing that thatch is pretty beneficial. This thing's working pretty good so far, considering it's been sitting in storage for a year. I've only used it once before, so I would expect it to keep lasting longer. I'm pretty happy with the SunJoe, actually. For the price that this thing is and what you get, I think it's a very versatile and useful tool to have. Okay, all done. It only took maybe a little over an hour to do 5,000 square feet, which is the size of my front lawn that's not fenced in. This area really picked up a lot. I actually went back and forth 2 directions over here because this is crappier grass that didn't take as well last year when I seeded. So I'm trying to dig up some of the worse grass that I don't like since it's dead anyway. And hopefully the Kentucky bluegrass does fill in with enough fertilizer and hopefully it spreads a little bit. So this is what we're looking with when we're all done. Next up, I'm gonna get my blower and clean up. I'm done cleaning up. Out of breath from raking and blowing for the last half hour. I did leave a little bit of striping there, so that's kind of nice. I was gonna water, but it looks like the neighbors are having a party, so unless I want to get all these cars wet, that might be fun. But I'll be the nice guy and wait till that's done. So I'm going to put down my pre-emergent and water tomorrow, I guess, since I do have to water in the pre-emergent after I apply it. I had to skip a day applying my pre-emergent because it was way too windy. However, today is looking perfect. Now, if you guys remember this booklet from last year, this was my lawn journal. So I take notes on everything that I do. This spring I applied 3/4 tablespoons of prodiamine 65 WDG, which is the 4-month rate. Looking over at PDF that you can print out of the product label for this product here, they have some instructions a few pages in that tells you approximately how many tablespoons equal 1 ounce. So you can do the conversion pretty easily if you look in the instructions here. So 1 pound per acre is 1 tablespoon. I did 3/4 tablespoon. And I'm going to also be doing about the same amount again, which should still keep me under my annual maximum since it is now September 1st. This is how long you have to wait before it's overseeding. So if you're going to put down your pre-emergent, make sure you wait this minimum number of months. Just follow the chart here. Length of crabgrass control. So this is the chart that I go by for application rate. It is September and I want this to last at least through like hard frost. So probably well into December, 4 months. That would be, if we follow up here, that's 0.75 pounds per acre. If we look back to this page again, 1 pound per acre is 1 tablespoon. 1 pound gets me 5 months, so we could apply it at that, but I went a little bit lower than that. Here are your annual maximums. maximum application rate. This is per year, per calendar year. So I did a split up. I did one spring application. I'm doing one application now. Kentucky bluegrass allows for 1.5 pounds of product per acre. We're under that, so we should be okay. I'm gonna go ahead and mix this up, and then we'll get spraying. You safety nannies out there, yes, I'm wearing rubber boots. Make sure you have the proper PPE when you spray. A lot of people like to mix directly in the tank, but I'll show you what I do. I take a small bucket like this, and I fill it about halfway with water. I measure out how much per diamine I need, and I dump it in here, and then I'll use this paint stir stick to dissolve the granules. And once I have the concentrate in here, I'll dump it into my sprayer and give it a good shake. I made a previous video about calibrating your sprayer and how fast you should walk when spraying, so be sure to check that out if you don't know how to spray. Last step in the fall recovery program. Just applied the pre-emergence, so now we're going to be putting down some fertilizer to push a little bit of growth and recover the lawn. So this is a 24-0-11, so it's 24% nitrogen, 0% phosphate, 11% potassium. I applied this 15,000 square foot bag. That's if I apply a bag rate. I did about 4.5 on my spreader setting for the Scots, and that got me about 1/3 of the bag covered my lawn, which is 10,000 square feet. So I'm applying a little bit below half bag rate. If I apply full rate, I get about 3/4 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. Actually, it's 0.84 pounds. But if I apply at my spreader setting of 4.5, I'll get 0.4 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000. So that's a nice rate, not too heavy-handed. It's going to be a lot slower growth that way, and I'll be able to stretch this bag a little bit farther. I'll have 3 applications spread out 2 weeks apart. That's about 1/3 of the bag, maybe a little more. Alright, that's all I've got for today. It is September 1st, so we'll come back in about a week or two and we'll see how things have improved, if at all. Looks like we're expecting some rain today, so that should wash in the pre-emergent and the fertilizer. Word of the wise, if you're going to put down your pre-emergent, make sure you water it in. Since I'm expecting rain, I'm going to wait for it to rain in, but otherwise I would run my sprinklers. So that's all I've got for today, guys. If you found this video useful, go ahead and click subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. If you got any comments, questions, leave them below. Until next time, thanks for watching.